as I'm waiting there, they're like, dump him. And I was like, why would I dump him? Why would I break up with him? He's letting me in
They were
right
talking
now.
about
He's
the
just
girls.
waiting. And I was like, oh, they wanted me to flash them.
Missed opportunity.
I was like, Nemo, you've got to listen to this. Like, they just said this to me. Like, do you not get along with them? Like, he was like, honey, no.
Welcome back to 30, Flirty, and Surviving, episode 1, since we did our intro episode last episode. So this is the real thing, guys.
Yeehaw.
You ready? I'm Kelsie.
I'm Tanisha.
And I'm Tracy.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. And don't forget to follow us on 30, Flirty, and Surviving podcast on Instagram and Spotify and YouTube. And YouTube.
And Apple.
And Apple.
As well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All of the above.
Yep. That was pretty enthusiastic.
I know, I'll get it one day.
Yeah. So how was everybody's weekends?
Good. How was yours?
It's good. Got to the beach. Went into town, have dinner on Saturday, and then I worked on Sunday. I feel like that's a pretty
solid weekend.
Well-rounded weekend.
Yes, the weather is getting better. Thank God.
The weather is pretty clever.
Yes.
I know. I was sweating on the way here. I feels like I forgot what this was like to walk, and it's so hot out. Mm-hmm. It's dying.
And Boston's opening back up, so.
I know.
Yay!
Hey. I can't wait.
What is
excited.
like the first thing you guys want to do? No masks.
Have a day.
I want to go to a Scorpion bar upstairs and just jam out.
See, I don't think anybody would ever expect this of me, but I want to go to the club.
The club.
Well,
yeah, I want to go to the
I
Grand.
do.
Yeah, no, I want to go to the Grand,
because
for
it's
sure.
been so long, and I feel like just being around that many people, I can't wait to just be in a sea of people.
I know.
And touch everybody. Sounds creepy, but I want to do it.
Hi, I'm Kelsie.
I'm just going to be like, hey. Just want to touch
I'm
your
Kelsie.
face. Anyway.
I was in the North End on Saturday night, and it was like back to normal. It was crowded.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I loved it.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I forgot what this is like. Sweet Prince got overwhelmed. I was like,
He was
all right.
overwhelmed.
Oh my gosh, he was getting so
The
antsy.
parking is bullshit in the North End to
Bullshit.
begin with. And now with like the sidewalks taking up half of the parking as well.
Yes.
There's like no point in driving.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, agreed.
And let's get into today's topic
Dun, dun, dun.
of 30s in general.
Yeah,
you can
so-
lead it off, Trace.
Yeah, well, so I think that just to give a little context, I think that the way that we're gonna try to do things, just to keep things like a little bit different, but also keep things sort of organized, is kind of have a topic of the day, because we want this to be as well-rounded as possible. We want to not be redundant, so we're gonna kind of have a certain conversation or topic that we want to go over each week. And then we'll break it up along the way with, games and guests and a couple other things. But we'll try to just pick one thing and stick to it for each week. So today, what better topic than... What's the topic?
What's it like being 30?
What 30 means to you.
Yes.
So, one of us is not 30 here. So I think we just need to get that elephant out of the room.
I was going to say, should I disclose that yet? I am 30 next month, but not quite
Rolls
yet. And I am
eyes.
hanging on to 29 like hell. So
Remember when I did that and you gave me shit? And
yeah,
now
but I'm
you're
also
doing it?
embracing being 30. Like, yes, it's
But
nice
you're
to
just
still
like,
be like,
yeah.
I'm still 29, but I'm kind of excited for my 30s for many reasons, which we will get into.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree. Okay, so I think that's a good segue. First thing I wanted to ask you guys is, like, going into 30, what were your, or, knowing that it's around the corner, what were your initial thoughts? Were you scared? Were you nervous? Does the number itself mean anything to you, or are you impartial?
I was really chill about turning 30.
Negative. She said, what did you say?
It's my 7th annual 23rd birthday, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't care what anybody says. Because, turning 30 was cool. I don't know. 20s were wild, so I think it's going into this new decade of my life. It's pretty exciting. I feel like there's so many new things coming, and you learn so much shit in your 20s.
Yeah. I feel like I was, like, the number itself doesn't scare me. I don't feel like turning a certain age really like changes or means anything. But I think that like 30 is the new 20. I feel like your 20s are hectic and they're chaotic, and you are just trying to keep your head above water. You like walking around blindly. No one knows what the heck they're doing.
It's all a learning process.
Yeah, and that's exactly like why I think 30s like I'm embracing it. I'm diving head in because it's like you can finally apply those lessons learned from your 20s into this new era of your life. I think it's super freeing and exciting.
I agree. I'm looking forward to it too. I think from like a corporate aspect, when you start out in the corporate world, you have no fucking clue what you're doing. And in your 30s, you kind of have a hold of what you like, what your goals are and your aspirations. You know, in 10 years, you're going to be 40. We won't talk about that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
One step at a time.
I don't really have any like huge expectations. I'm just kind of looking forward to taking it year by year. But I do think, and I'll chime in about this like over and over again because of my mother. I have a very Italian mother. And I think expectations for 30-year-old women to some people that are a little more old school is like, you know, you should have 5 kids. You should be married by now. Like, what are you doing? I don't feel that way necessarily. I'm looking forward to that time when it comes. But right now I'm just kind of going with it. That's how I feel like you have to live it.
When I was like 21, like you could not have told me by 30, I would have literally 0 prospects, 0 children, and like nothing even close to a relationship. But
Chris Evans lives in Boston, though. So
wow, that's gonna be.
Don't say no prospects.
You're gonna keep that one going.
He goes to the Grand frequently. We've discussed this. So
a little birdie did tell me that. But apparently, I just don't get invitations on those nights. So
weird.
But okay, you know, all jokes aside, there's no prospects. And I like you couldn't have told me. Like I just thought for sure at this point I'd have like a baby on my hip and a white picket fence and all that crap. But I think that, you know, times have totally changed and it's not the same, and I don't feel personally any pressure for that. I don't think that there's any need to put that type of weight on your shoulders. Like there's like everything should be done at a certain pace in your own time and when it's right, and there's no rush.
I feel like we were almost conditioned, like we grew up in the 90s, but it still was very much like, you know, the male typically works and the woman stays at home with the kids, and you are successful if you have 4 kids and a rich husband, and like as Cher said, I am the rich man. So that's what I aspire to be. So yeah, I just think that things have just totally changed, and
yeah, I agree.
It's
like,
interesting.
It's also weird because when I was in my early 20s and someone said they were 30, I was like, oh wow, like they're such an adult. I am not that much of an adult. Like I think I'm good at, like, obviously, you know, you learn things along the way, but like I'm not ready for children. Like I'm just not mentally there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think hence the surviving.
Yeah, your girl's surviving.
An age does not determine like where you are at in your life. There's not like an automatic threshold where you reach a certain number and like the, you know, magic formula is figured out. I mean, like just it's different for everybody.
I don't care what age you are. Nobody has it figured out.
True that.
Literally 0 people. I don't care if you're 60. I don't care if you're 50.
True.
You don't have it figured out.
That's so true.
Yeah. You learn something new every single day. And all the interactions you have with people, and this is another reason I'm looking forward to kind of getting back to normal life, is meeting new people and talking to them about like their life experiences and changing my perspective on things. I think it's really interesting. Those conversations mean a lot.
Yeah, I think this summer is going to be legit. Like people have just been cooped up for so long. They are going to be crawling out of their houses, getting anywhere and everywhere they can. And I think like, especially a city like Boston, you know, where you ride the T and everyone is looking at their phone, they have their headphones in, no one talks to each other. Like it's a pretty cold city. I don't think it's as harsh as like a New York, but it's like everyone, you know, has a little bit of an attitude. And I think like now everyone's just going to be like smiling, making eye contact, starting small conversations. I think people are just going to be so happy to, like, that was something we took for granted. Think of all those times where you're like just passing somebody on the sidewalk and it's like just don't look at me, please don't look at me. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, or like the nice person that's just like, hey, how are you? And you're like, good. So they don't start a conversation, you know?
Well, speaking of that, for both of you, do you guys have any travel aspirations for your 30th, I guess, your third decade in life? Like, is there any place that you really want to get to, especially now that like restrictions are being lifted and the possibilities are now endless?
Yeah, I told you, Sweet Prince and I are going to go to Iceland for New Year's. So
and just to preface that again, Sweet Prince is Tanisha's boyfriend.
Yes,
for the people that need a reminder. So
that's right, yeah.
You're going to Iceland for New Year's, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so excited for that. And then hopefully Italy at some point, so.
Love that.
Yeah, like a bucket list thing for me is to go to Italy, but not just like, you know, the Amalfi Coast and like Rome. Like I feel like everyone wants to go there, but my family's from like a little small country town called Palamiti. It's in Calabria in like southern Italy. So I would love to go there and just kind of see like where my grandfather and my grandmother grew up. And I think that's definitely on the list for 30.
Probably still have family there.
Yeah, no,
right?
I do have family there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I have like a bunch of cousins and stuff. So I definitely want to do that. I'm like a down for anything. Like you could be like Singapore. I'm like, let's book a trip.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's get the flight going.
Yeah.
Like I'm like always down for just embracing other cultures, seeing new places, trying new food.
Yeah.
Wherever I'm down, but travel's for sure something I'd want to do.
Agreed.
What about you?
Definitely.
Well, first and foremost, I mean, I definitely want to get to traveling because I've only been to so many places, and I think we all took it for granted.
Yeah.
Now, seeing that we couldn't travel, one of the places I really wanted to get to is Australia, but it's a hell of a flight. So,
Sure is.
hoping to get there, Japan maybe. So I have a bucket list going, but also just getting back to live music too, just in means of things that we've missed out on over the past year.
I can't wait for it. Yeah. I feel like, to your point, I feel like it's either going to be people are going to be super friendly or like their social awkwardness got worse not being around people.
Yes.
It's going to be hysterical being around just like drunk people. We're going to be like, you're so weird.
Like the Amanda show, I like eggs.
That would be me in the corner.
Wow, I didn't even think of that. But yeah, that's a
Meanwhile, I'm touching people, so we're not going out.
Yeah, no, seriously, I'm going to have to freaking separate you two. Jeez Louise.
Incredible.
Okay, so speaking of like bucket lists and things like that, overall, generally speaking, did you guys set any intentions for yourself, or is there a theme for 30, whether it's a new mindset, outlook, a certain goal, or like a achievement that you want to accomplish? Like, what's your intention for as you enter this new decade?
Just to be happy.
Huh. Yeah, I like that.
The beginning of 20s were fun, and they got really hard. But the end of my 20s was like the hardest few years in my entire life. So I think I just want to be happy and feel light and be at peace. And I feel like I'm kind of there now, and it feels really good. So just to keep on that track, I think.
How would you describe being happy, or what is happiness to you?
I think it's just being at peace. It's not feeling so heavy, and it's being able to tackle the hard times, and it doesn't weigh you down. And I know we're gonna touch upon this eventually in an episode, but I suffer from depression. It's having the tools to deal with those type of things. And when I have episodes where I feel that way, I'm not days in my bed, and I'm able to bounce back. And it's just, it's a constant journey. I don't think you ever fully reach it, but just to keep going there.
That's a good reminder, because I have always been somebody that has said happiness is a choice. Like, happiness is something that you have to wake up and commit to every single day. But I don't suffer from any sort of depression or anxiety or a mental health disorder. So I realized that I am grateful that I can get up and make that conscious decision. So I feel like that's a good reminder to hear that, because not everybody has that privilege. But I think that also happiness is just so many people are unhappy because I think that they are too focused on what they don't have rather than what they do have. You know what I mean? If you're always trying to catch that next job, it's always the next guy, it's always whatever, you're never gonna be happy. You just need to be you need to make the decision to kind of wake up and be grateful and thankful for what you have right now.
I think that a big part of that is putting yourself first. And because like that's what I've seen a lot with you lately, and like, you know, you put your mental health first, put your needs first before anybody else, because I think we spend a lot of our 20s putting others before ourselves. So that's definitely...
We'll get into that at another episode. Because, honey, I could talk all day.
So that's definitely something for me in my 30s, putting myself first and being selfish. Because I think that selfishness has such a negative connotation. And that's not how it should be. No. Like, be selfish.
Well, there's different kinds of selfish, right? Like,
you can still love people. You can still be there for people, but be selfish in what you want, because life is short as hell. And I think you do start realizing that in your 30s, your brain's more developed. You're realizing things like, you realize your 20s went by in the flash of an eye, and then before you know it, you'll be 50. Like, so don't waste a minute. It sounds so cliche.
No.
But do what you want. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you don't like your job, leave. If you don't like your boyfriend, leave. Dump them. Dump them. Dump them out.
Actually, I have a really funny story, just really quickly. When I was in college, I was dating somebody, and this is like how naive and prude I am, because I'm such a friggin' freak. But so I was dating this guy, and he lived in a different dorm room. So I'm like buzzing into the building so that I can go up to see him. And while I'm waiting for the door to open, there's this pod, which are like, it was like dorm rooms that are like 8 guys or whatever, and the top floor. And as I'm waiting there, they're like, dump him. And I was like, why would I dump him? Why would I break up with him? He's letting me in.
They were
right
talking
now.
about
He's
the
just
girls.
And I was like, oh, they wanted me to flash them.
Missed opportunity.
I was like, Nemo, you've got to listen to this. Like, they just said this to me. Like, do you not get along with them? Like, he was like, honey, no. That's not what they were saying. That's not what they were saying.
She's like, why? Oh my God.
So yeah, there's that. But unrelated. But yeah, I think going back to your point, like there's a difference between like being selfish, where you never think of other human beings and how your actions can affect them, versus just doing things with more conviction. And I think like, you know, staying true to who you are is a way of selfishness, but it's not in a harmful way.
Right. And because you have quote unquote semi-developed who you are more than your 20s, you can then recognize it and and proceed in that manner. Yeah. Whereas before you couldn't.
Yeah. It kind of brings me, like things that you've learned in your 20s. Something I learned big time was boundaries. Yeah. I'm like always boundary, because it's so important. And I think that's like kind of ties in with being selfish, because it's like protecting yourself by creating boundaries of like, no, you can't act like that to me, or no, you can't say that, or I can't go to that. I just
saying
can't.
no to plans is like the biggest thing, because I always want to be 2 places in once.
Oh my God.
Like literally my couch and out.
Struggle for me, because I'm such a person that I'm like, your word is everything. Like, if you say you're going to do something, you better do it. So I like am that person that will make 1,000 plans, and then just that day I wake up and I don't want to do anything. Yeah. But it's and I'm like, but I said I would do it. And like, that's something I need to be better at for myself, is just being like, hey, you know, I woke up and I'm just not in the mood tonight. Like, hopefully you understand, you know, like, and being able to say no, because I feel like I can't cancel on people, and it's a detriment to my mental stability.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I used to be cutthroat about people like canceling on me. I'd be like, we need to go out, because I just wanted to go to Faneuil Hall every weekend and drink as much Jameson as I could.
Get me to
what's the place?
The Black Rose.
Oh my God, this bitch had a black
card.
Wild Rover. This bitch had a black card. She went there so much.
Yeah. But that's when I stopped going, and they were like, here's the VIP card, sweetie. We see you in line all the time. I'm like,
gone too far.
It's time.
I'm like, okay, goodbye. But I've tried to get better at that, because I know for like my mental health, like I suffer from depression and anxiety as well. So sometimes I would get so anxious that even the thought of like driving to my destination would cripple me. And that's some people, you don't realize. That's the thing that I think everybody at this table can speak on. You don't realize sometimes when people are suffering from certain things. So you need to like act accordingly and have that empathy and take the time to ask and like, hey, is everything okay? Like, and I understand. Understanding is the best thing you can do for people. I mean, at any point in life, but especially 30s. Yeah. Be understanding, be kind, and be gentle, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's true what they say. Like, you never know what someone else is going through. So before you react, if you can try to be a little bit more empathetic, it's beneficial for both sides.
Exactly.
So for me, my general theme for 30 is, I kind of talked about this on last week when you guys like had asked me about dating, and you know, I think we've been talking about it already, but like doing things with mindfulness and intention. I am very much a like go with the flow, free spirit, figure it out later, like beg for forgiveness, then ask for permission. And I think like that was all fine and well, and that was fun in my 20s, but I've really been trying to pay more attention to what serves me, like what feeds my soul, what things make me happy, what things when I'm like doing them or people that I'm around, do I feel most myself, and trying to focus on those things. I feel like, you know, whether it's like a guy or a job or whatever it may be, like just if it's not meeting my expectations or it's not making me feel good, being okay to walk away from it. I think that like that's super important for me, and just like paying attention to how those things affect you. Yeah. So you can call me corny, but this year I made myself a vision board.
I love your vision board. I love it.
I do too. So I actually made it like in January, kind of like as a New Year's thing, but also knowing that 30 was around the corner. But it was so therapeutic, and it was kind of this way for me to just see on paper, you know, like tangibly.
Because you really never do that. Like life is so fast and furious that it's like,
you never really stop to think like that. And so I just put on a bunch of things like, you know, like travel and work and career and love and like all like my health and wellness and just all these things that I wanted to accomplish and things that I want to be more mindful of. And it has held me so accountable. Like I have it in my room, and every morning when I wake up, I'm like, fine, I'll answer that email that I don't want to deal with today.
We need to do that, I guess.
You know what I mean? Or it's like, okay, like I woke up late and my gym time's cut short, but like 20 minutes is better than no minutes. So get your ass in the gym, bitch. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think it's been really good for me, and it's kind of cool to see as things fall in place how they have matched up to what I put in, you know.
That's true. That's a form of self-care right there. Like that's self-care because like
self-care.
Yeah, self-care.
So important.
Self-care. Oh my goodness gracious. I love that. I think that's great, and I think like everybody should take a note out of your book. Yeah, I certainly will.
Thank you.
I certainly will.
I also journal a lot. Speaking of putting things on paper and meditation and all that type of thing, like honestly, I have a very hard time with my feelings. I usually don't say anything at all, and I notice how that affects me in the long run because I either let things bottle up or I show anger rather than maybe sadness. Like I'd be one to pick a fight because you hurt my feelings rather than just saying you hurt my feelings, because that's hard for me to do. So by writing everything down, I feel like I just get to kind of process my thoughts, and sometimes things click for me in a way that they don't when it's just living inside your head and kind of like, you know, cycling around. So, and it's like, you know, it's not like a freaking diary. It's like, you know, it can be a sentence, it could be a paragraph. Journal. Dear diary, today Kyle sucks.
Today Kyle was a dick.
And that's dated every day. No,
that's how every journal entry every day starts. Kyle as a dick. Anyway.
But you know what I mean? I think it just can be like whatever you're feeling, whether it's positive, like, or if like you're going into a conversation and you don't know what you want to say to somebody, I think just being able to see it beforehand and let it resonate with you so that, again, you can speak with more intention when you have those conversations.
Do you guys think stuff like that, like journaling and therapy and whatnot, is becoming less of a stigma nowadays? Because I feel like before people would be like, oh, I don't need to do that. I don't have time for that. And and it's like, well, at the end of the day, that helps you form your personality and who you are. So you need to take time to do that. And I'm speaking about myself too, because I totally don't do it. But now you're convincing me to do it. So I think you got to do it.
Yeah. And I think there's like different kind of journaling. Like I talked to my therapist about that because I was like, I'm not good at like taking my journal every day and like saying how I feel. But so
well, I think that's like the point. Like, it doesn't need to be an everyday thing. Like, it's not like it's not a diary. Like, you don't have to go in and check in with it. It's when it feels right to you.
Yeah. And like, so when I told her that, I was like, I don't, I'm having trouble journaling. So, and when I really wanted to do it was when my breakup was happening. And so she was like, you should do it in the form of letters. So it was like, I was writing letters to him, and it was, you guys saw me. I was a basket case. So it was easier for me to do. Tracy's like, fucking say.
I live with you.
Right, she's right.
My brain was just like all over the place. I had
sorry, I'm just kidding. She was great.
My like thoughts were here and there and like everywhere. So it was good to just like as if I was like talking to him and writing that down, and like that was at the time my form of journaling. And
well, because like in that situation, like, is it even worth a conversation? Like, sometimes it might just be something that you need to feel and then let go of and move on. Like, if you're going through a breakup, like, you don't need to have, I think closure is a made-up term. I don't think that people actually need fucking closure. Closure is a way so you can keep that person around. Like, you need to move on your own. So you don't need to meet up and talk to them about it. You don't need to, like, have that phone conversation, that dinner, whatever. Like,
it's just a way to hold on. It's not closure. You're it's
just
trying
to keep the door
of
cracked, you know? So I think that, like, you could just write down something maybe you would want to say, whether it was any form of like resentment or hurt or even a positive aspect about your relationship, and just let it be.
Also, if you want to send that shit though, because if they fucked you over,
I know. Sometimes that is nice. Part of like the healing process is kind of just like
I just don't think that's beneficial.
For future reference, if anybody ever screwed you guys over, if I could act on it.
Yes.
I say no. You can act on it for Tanisha. I don't need backup.
Kyle, I'm looking at you.
It's not about needing backup, but like
why
for
are you
me
here? Like, why are you here?
Well, it's not like so much like I need backup, but like I feel like it depends, because I feel like
have a different perspective as a best friend on things that happen.
Like, especially like with you and me, like you like you guys like saw me and how upset I was. So like it's not that I need backup, but like I wouldn't stop you if you guys ever said anything.
But I think for me, like, because I have a hard time with my feelings, like it's more about like I don't want that person to even think that I still care. So I'd rather nothing be said at all. Like, remember when we ran into Voldemort in Miami?
God.
We need to reference who these people are.
Sorry. So
I know.
We'll get into another time, but my ex-boyfriend, horrible relationship, I had not seen him or talked to him in like 2 years, and I'm in Miami for my 30th birthday, like having the best time with my girlfriends, look over across the bar, and there he freaking is, and I was like shaking. I'm like, what do I do? Like, I'm freaking out. And then I was like, whatever, it's fine. Like, I'm just not gonna talk to him. And Kelsey's like, come on, let me just go say something. Come on, let me just go over there. We should go walk by him. I'm like, can we please?
I held a very prolonged stare in hopes that he would look at me so I could be like, you fucking asshole.
Kelsey's like twitching.
I have a knife in my purse.
Yeah, she was like ready to throw bows. I'm like, it's just gonna make me look like it still affects me and bothers me. So I don't want that. Like, I don't need that.
I feel like that's the high road. Good for you for taking it, because sometimes I can't. So
in that situation, I get it. Like, you're not gonna go out of your way to make it known that I don't care, because it's like, well, girl, you care.
And then it looks like you, it's worse on you.
Yeah.
So,
but if you ran into him without me there, and like he passed by and you chirped at him, like, you do you, baby. Like,
yeah. I love that. What else?
So speaking of relationships, like Kelsie, I mean, you've been in a relationship for 3 years, 4 years,
almost 4. Yeah.
So I feel like it's a little bit different because your relationship's like a well-oiled machine. It's like pretty organic and naturally. But do you feel like do you approach dating differently in your 30s?
Well, yes, because I am 10 times more chill in this relationship, because based on
I'll believe it when I say it.
Who I used to date, it was just not, like, he wasn't for me, and he was just clingy and needed me all the time, and this is different. Like, it's just more relaxed, and we can be like our true selves and still have our own friend groups and still like not do every single thing together.
Oh my God.
And then post it 3 times on Instagram.
I couldn't.
Remember when you had that boyfriend that would literally post you every Wednesday?
His name is Clown.
Women Crush Wednesday. My skin crawled.
Yeah,
Pennywise.
I don't need that. So it's like,
oh my God, I want to vomit.
well, that's the thing, is finding the perfect balance of your person and like who you are and who they are, and kind of letting that live and letting that breathe instead of trying to turn them into somebody they're not. I think that I found a great balance with this, and you can like go off and do your thing. I think that's so important in your 30s dating. Like, you can do your own thing, they can do their own thing. You guys have separate lives, you have separate friend groups, but you hang out too. Like, I don't know.
I agree.
So
I think someone needs to be another cliche, but a part of your world, not like your whole world. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like when you're younger, you're just like so obsessed with being in a relationship, and like, it's like, no, I'm complete without you.
Because
but
that's
like,
drunk fun to me. Like, you have sex and you get drunk and you have fun, and like, but like in your 30s, it's serious.
True.
Like, it's like, oh, I might actually spend the rest of my life with you, so this better be good. Like, we can hang,
Along
we can
with
watch
drunk
TV.
sex.
Yes, that too. But yeah, and I know. Well, Tanisha has a fairly new relationship.
Yes,
So-
I do.
tell the people about Sweet Prince.
Oh, God. What do I say? I don't know. He's nice. I like
Well,
him.
how do you? I feel like we asked you
I
this
like
last
his
time.
face a lot.
We asked you this last time, but like, do you? Like, I had asked you, like, when you guys were just, you know, going out to dinner and starting to date, like, were those conversations different, and now that you are actually boyfriend and girlfriend? Just kidding. Like, is it different now than when you started dating your last boyfriend?
Yeah, it's very different in the sense that, I don't know. I feel like that's a good question.
I
feel like
I'll be here all night.
I feel like the conversations Sweet Prince and I had are a lot deeper than me and PW.
Ex-boyfriend.
Yes, ex-boyfriend.
This is that we need like a
chart.
key.
We'll provide a code
key.
list for you guys.
We'll have like a little key. Brian will be the ginger. You'll have a couple devil ex-boyfriends.
Yes.
So, anyway, keep going.
A lot.
Devil.
Decipher who's who.
I can't.
Yeah, the conversations are just a lot deeper, and I feel like we have so much in common.
Hold on.
So,
Talking to the mic niche.
sorry, I do that. I'm gonna pull it to me.
You have so much in common.
Thank God
Yeah.
Kyle's here.
Sign man. The sign man.
Sean,
All right. So you have a lot in common.
Yeah, we have a lot more in common. So there's a lot. Just the conversations are different in terms of also, like, I think I said last time, like, we came out of more toxic relationships before. So we were both very cognizant of that and like what we wanted going into this relationship. So there's just so much more communication, and it's just better, like, all around. It's just more, I feel so like relaxed, like it's just flowing and it's going, and I
Love
feel
that
like
for
we're
you.
both on the same, we're on the same exact path. So it's really
Nice. Yeah. And Tracy's single, ready to mingle. Tracy sure makes me horny.
I thought we talked about this last time.
I know, but we talked about
no,
me too.
I mean,
So
I
let's
said
go.
I'm single as a Pringle.
I know, but I like the mingle part because it's, again, COVID restrictions are lifted, so we will mingle. We will make you mingle.
All right.
Yeah. I just sounded like I was going to hoe her out, but it's fine because I might.
okay. Doesn't matter.
I just might. But yeah.
So what's the question?
So I know you touched upon, like, you know, being single. I feel like you've embraced it. I feel like, like, through vision boards or whatever, like, I just feel like you're thriving in your career, truly thriving, not surviving, thriving, and just kind of crushing it in every aspect and, like, laying the foundation for, like, what your life's going to be moving forward, you know?
I think, like, I've never been a person who needs a relationship. It's like I work 2 jobs. I have my own, like, hobbies and interests. I have great family and friends. Like, I'm busy. I have things to do. My life is fulfilling, you know, like, so it's less about like having a relationship and more about somebody that makes me want to go in that direction, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody comes along, cool. If not, then I'm good on my own. Like, I'm much better at being single than I am in a relationship, so that's fine.
Love that.
But
Remember?
I think, like,
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm not sad about not being single.
Oh, you guys missed your single days? Well, welcome to the
they
club
were
anytime.
fun.
You
They
can
were
rejoin
fun.
anytime you want.
I mean, I was single
They
for
were
a hot
fun.
second, but before PW, ooh, that was fun. That was so fun. But our single days are very different than what
my single days?
Yeah, like you and I
We
were
were
like
young.
Yeah,
We were young.
Well, yeah, I was like wifed up when you guys were like gallivanting
I
to
know,
town.
that's
so.
true.
I do feel like we've never been like all on the same page
Yeah.
with
No.
singledom, and it kind of is very disappointing.
Yeah, Tanisha did.
I like wish that we all were at once.
Tanisha gave me a fake out. She was single for like 3 weeks. And
I
then
know.
she
Good
went
point,
to
good point.
broach another relationship.
He came out of nowhere. I was not
Yeah.
expecting that.
Yeah.
I was like, no, like I'm just like we're just gonna hang out. I'm gonna take it slow, and then boom.
Love it.
Bing, bang, boom.
Are there-
But I guess, like, is it different? Yes and no. I think no, in the sense that, like, I don't have that mentality of, oh my God, I'm 30, I have to play catch up. Like, if I meet somebody, there has to be this expedited timeline of like marriage, babies on that like one track. Like, I still would very much need to take things at a pace that not only I am comfortable at, but like what they're comfortable at too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm in no rush, as we were saying before, to get there. So like, no, it's not different in that sense. I think I'd still really want to take my time with it. But it is different in the sense that we've been around the block, and I think I know like what things I would tolerate and what things I wouldn't tolerate, what things I want to put up with and what things I don't want to put up with. So it's just better at like choosing the people to date, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I feel like they aren't that like into me, like I feel like back in the day I would like stick around because I would just
Now
be
it's
like,
no.
Well, you like what you
I
can't
like
have.
him, so I'm gonna wait until he likes
Can
me
I say
too.
this though?
You know,
when you get into the relationship though,
because he will.
when you get into the
If he knows what's good for him.
God damn
we
it.
gotta talk like one at a time.
Whoops.
In other words, Kelsey's like, by one
You
time, I
wanna
mean,
go?
don't fucking interrupt me.
The
That's
floor
exactly
is
what she
yours.
just
Don't
meant.
fucking interrupt
That's
me.
exactly what you just meant.
But anyway, I lost my train of thought, so keep going.
I was saying how if a guy's like not into me, you just you don't like back.
I'm saying that like I think that's a thing that kind of changes in a long-term relationship. Like you take the good with the bad when they say that. Like I remember my mom used to say that, like, you know, you pick your battles, you take the good with the bad. It's true, because if you love them, you do that, because not everybody's like 100% all the time. Not everybody's 100% amazing all the time, including you. Like I know I'm not 100% amazing all the time.
Oh,
like,
I am.
I'm a fire-breathing dragon sometimes. Like, but you take the good with the bad and you roll with the punches and kind of go through it together.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in to the first episode, the first official episode of 30, Flirty, and Surviving. Once again, I am Kelsie.
I am Tanisha.
And I'm Tracy.
And we're just trying to survive.
Yes. And as you can tell, we talk a lot. So tune in, and don't forget to follow us on social media at 30, Flirty, and Surviving Podcast.
Yes. And also, if you are interested in sending us any subjects you would like to see covered on this podcast, I think it's something that we're looking for, because we really want to interact with our audiences and make sure we're touching upon things that are relevant to everybody.
Yeah.
Even if you're not in your 30s, even if you're not a female, go for it.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeesh.
Okay, great.
All right. And bye.
Hasta la vista.